So the main important point is the port numbers, right? You asked for the port numbers, the ports. So 32 instance number and 33 instance number, 36 instance number, 32 DGM, D and G and M for message server. So dispatcher gateway and message server here. So 32, 33 and 36 instance number. So these are the port numbers you need to remember here. Okay. So there is an internal also. There is a 39. That is also message server, but that is the message server internal port number. Message server internal port number. That is not much useful. But only thing is these three ports you should remember. These three ports. So everybody should remember about these three ports. Okay.
That M means ACS instance number, right?
Which one?
Message server.
Message server
DC.
where, yeah, ASS instance number.
Yeah.
Wherever the message server will be hosted, that is the message server. In case of gateway, this is the application server instance number. Yes, respect to application server instance number, you need to insert as a suffix. Right? So, and also to recap to the up to now what we discussed. So the work process administration part, and we discussed about the client administration part. These are the two main topics we discussed here. In the work process administration, so you need to remember about the some important points like so background jobs. So background jobs are the so some important points here. How to schedule the background jobs using the SM36. Then how to cancel the long running jobs. How to identify the long running jobs. So how can I find out the so sometimes system will be slow due to the long running background jobs also, because so sometimes jobs will run from longer time. If anything is running from longer time, definitely it's required the some amount of memory and CPU quantity it's required. CPUs are required. So it's running from longer time, then definitely so only this process will use the entire the part, only this process will use the background job will use the lot of memory and CPU, then which cause the some performance bottleneck in the system. So if the system is slow, means sometimes you need to check the background job related things also, whether is there any long running background jobs in the system. So you need to go to the SM37. So you need to check the are there any long running background jobs, right? That is also you need to consider. So sometimes what happens due to the connection mismatch, connection break from application and DB, so the job still it's a running status, but it will not update it here. Jobs will running status, but it will not update anything here. In that case, what you have to do, you need to check the what you have to do, you need to check the so you need to check the so whether the connectivity issues between the systems and all those things, you need to look it out the this information here. Okay, so these things you have to check it out in the systems here. Connection information, connection settings, connection informations from application is running or not. So in the SM37 you will find out the this information, long running background jobs related things you can find out from the SM37 transaction code here. Okay, so that is the one of the transaction code to check the long running things and everything in the system. Okay, so sometimes what happens, up to previous run job got executed successfully, only the latest run is giving the error. Only latest run it's giving the error, means we need to check after yesterday and till today, are there any changes are happened in the system. Are there any someone changed the any variants, any programs or something, any changes are happened in the system? So we need to look that part. Why? Because up to yesterday the job was executed in the few minutes. Today the job executed in more hours and still it's running. Then we need to look at the what changes are happened in the system. Are there any transports mode? Are there any changes mode related to this background job? Why? Because the background job will execute the one of the above step, like program, the program will be executed, right? So then that program, are there any changes are happened in the program and the related variants, any changes are happened, any transports are moved. So we need to, is there any issues with the database level? Why? Because always the job will update the data into database level, right? So then we need to look at the database level issues or anything in the system, right? DB performance issues. So why? Because application will depend on the database. So database is in the good condition, that's fine. If the database is not in the good condition, then definitely application will slow. Application will slow regarding this one. So we need to check the all the factors which is causing the performance issues and everything. So sometimes the background job will cause the performance issues in the system. So that is the one of the main important thing you should consider. Okay. Apart from that, dialogues we know, that is process the user request, take the user request, process the user request. Then update also we discussed, right? Update. Sometimes what happens, the updates will get delayed. The updates will get delayed due to the major updates, major lot of updates are happening in the system. There is only one update process which will take time to processing the updates. Or sometimes what happens, DB DB capacity got full, DB memory got full, DB side issues. Then what will happen? So application will slowly will insert the records into the database level here. If the database is good, it's freely it will insert the data. So the update will update the records into the database level. But if database is not in good condition, then how the update will happen, right? So that is also one of the performance issue only, right? And also, so the NQ lock table. So there is a lot of load. There is a high load in the system. Sometimes what happens? There is a high load in the system. High performance load in the system. So for this one, what will happen? Entire system will go for the high load. Entire system will go to the hung status here. Entire system will go to the hung status, which means there is a NQ table. There is a NQ table. So sometimes what happens, there are thousands of lakhs of, so the lock entries will be generated at the same time due to the program or the users or unexpected behavior. So which cause the table, there is a lock table will get overflow. If the lock table is overflow, so then what will happen? The commitments will not happen. So the NQ also sometimes will cause the lock table overflow. If the table is overflow, then what happens? No more locks, no more new locks. Then no more new locks means definitely the people cannot do the any changes in the systems. That is also one of the performance contributors here. Update. So message server side. So message server will do the load balancing of the application servers. So that is also one of the important times. Sometimes what happens? So if the application servers are not responding, message server will forcefully shut down there is a timeout, 600 seconds or something. Message server will forcefully shut down the application server here, will send the kill signal. That is also one of the issue, right? Gateway, normally, spool. So these two are less priority, gateway and spool, that will do the internal work. Okay. So then client administration, in the client administration, the important thing is logical system. Why logical system is required for the client? So each and every table, there is a field is called the log sys, which means logical system field here. So why logical system means to identify the client within the landscape, we need a logical system here. There are the multiple clients in the system. To identify the data insertion for each client, then we need a logical system naming convention should be required here. So client creation, the logical, what is the naming convention of the logical system means? So SID, so SID, CLNT, and the client number, you need to provide it here, right? This is the naming convention. Based on this, the data insertion will happen into the table level. There are the multiple clients, but table is only one. So the data insertion based upon the logical system field. So this will be inserted into the table level here. That's what it will happen in the this one logical systems. Then client creation, normal. Everybody will do the client creation. Only thing is logical system and the client copies. Client copies are some important topic here. Client copies. So client copies. So normally in the client copy, some people they times they will use the local and remote only. So the client export import are the less priority that it will not be used. Why? Because that is the two-way mechanisms. This is the direct transfer to the direct transfer to the target. But here it's required the remote connection. RFC destinations are required here. In the SM59, we have to create the RFC destinations to the target system here. Through via this target RFC destination kind of a pipe. Via pipe, how the water flow will happen, same as like RFC destination, the data flow will happen to the target here. The local means within the system between two clients, one client to another client within the same system here. So within the city, right, don't require any other no connections here. Internal connections will take care of that part here, right? So the remote and the locals are the very important thing here, right? So and also client creation is done, but to log into the newly created client, you need to enable the SAP star with pass. Normally we will call it as the emergency user activation. Emergency, the user activation that we have to do it here. Emergency user activation. So this emergency user activation, there is a parameter we have to change it. That's why we have discussed about the profiles and parameters concept here. Profiles and the parameters concept here. Profiles means RG10 and RG11. We can do the changes about the profiles and parameters here, right? Profiles and parameters, we can do the changes here. So profiles, RG10 and RG11 here. So what type of profiles we can change it here, right? Static profile, dynamic profiles. But RG10 is the standard, which means you need to do the restart, but changes are permanent. But this is the dynamic, so changes are not permanent. So dynamic changes we can. Sir, how can we identify which parameter is static or dynamic? Means when you go to the RZ11, keep the parameter name and click on the display. Then where you are getting the change value, that is called the dynamic parameter. You are not getting only display option, you are getting that is called the dynamic only, not the static one. So definitely if you want to set the parameter permanently, you need to do the restart. You need to do the restart of the application server. That's why we have to plan the activities in the off business hours, means when we don't have the downtime agreement. So we need to agree the downtime of the business, then we need to do the restart of the SAP systems here. That's what we have to do it in the systems here. So parameter changes, it's a continuous process. Whenever any request comes, that time we have to do the parameter changes in the system. So same as like the emergency user activation, there is a one parameter we have to change it in the RG10, the login slash no underscore automatic underscore automatic underscore. So here what we have to do, the user, then SAP star, this password we have to change it to the one is there by default, then we have to make it to the 0 and restart it. Then you can log in to the any newly created client with SAP star with the pass, you can log in the first time. Why? Because for the newly created client, you will not get the default users like SAP star and DDIC. So these are the default users, master users to be created during the installation time. So this will not be created here. So then how can we log in? Means we need to activate the emergency user for the newly created client. For this one, you need to change the parameter in the RG10, restart it. Then you can able to log into the newly created client with the concept here, right? So that is the thing here. Then here, one more thing is here, how to, sir, we are copying the data from, one more important thing is you are copying the data from source to target. Okay. So source means one client to another client. We are copying the data from source to target here. Right. So in that case, how can we identify the size of the client here? Right. So there is a reports here. There are some reports here in SA38 normally where we have to execute the reports or programs means SA38 or SE38 here. So here then there is a RS space check and RS site check are the return. So these are the transaction codes here. Here we can estimate the tables, the table sizes. So what is the tables? The more like if you put the star, all the tables will be then. So large all the tables will be located. Then it will calculate the size of the table here. It will calculate the size of the size of the client here. This client size of the client, so this will be calculated here, right? RS space check. This is the report here. right? RS space check. This is a report to estimate the size of the client here. This is one of the prerequisite activity. Sir, we are copying the data from here to here. Then here there is a 1 TB data is there, but here also there is a 1 TB data free should be there, right? Then only it will copy the data. Otherwise, so you have the 2 GB movie is there. Then here we have only 1 GB free space is there. Then how can we copy the data? Then it will be failed in middle. That is the reason. The first of all you need to estimate the size. Then using the report RS space check or RS size check, using this report you need to estimate the size of the report and everything you have to estimate it here. That is the one of the thing here. Okay, that is the sizing estimation. RS space check, that is the report to identify the client size. Normally that is not required, but in case of if anyone asks you during the interview point of time, how can we assume or how can we estimate the size of the client means, or there is a report we have to execute RS space check, that we can do that one. Okay. So this is about the client administration part. And also, apart from that, some of the normal transaction codes, also service activation means SICF, which we discussed yesterday, SMICM, that is also we discussed like the ports and activation. Sometimes what happens, the people will not able to connect from the browser. They will not able to access the system from the browser here. So they will not able to access anything from the browser. So due to why? Because there is a why they will not able to access the things from the browser means the ports, the respective the backend system ports will not be active sometimes. It will go to the deactivated status here. It will go to the not active status here. Then that time you cannot able to connect to the system via this ports. Via this ports, you will not able to connect to the systems here. So that time we need to check the port should be active status here. The port should be active status here. That is the one of the thing we should know. Okay, that is the active ports here. Then service activation, SICF, any service activations, SMICM, the ICM, HTTP ports. The users are unable to connect through system through browser means they are getting 500 internal server error, service cannot be reached means. So ports and the backend systems here. The port, majorly port, we need to check it out. Then so the ICM buffer, ICM things we need to check. If you open the dev underscore ICM log file, you will come to know the some information about the sports and everything. The sports and everything will come to know some information about the ICM and related information here. SM, ICM here. Right here, you need to check the ICM ports and everything. We have to check it out here. Right, then only you can able to access the systems and data and everything. Otherwise, cannot able to access anything in the systems. Right, see, you can able to access the systems. So if the port is down, then you cannot able to connect it here. That is the one of the thing here. Okay, so that is the service. If any service, so the service should be active status in the system. The service should be active status in the backend systems here. So then locks and all, where can you check the dumps? Above runtime dumps means ST22. So what are the some known dumps means memory errors, uncaught exceptions, syntax errors, runtime syntax errors, timeout errors, memory SQL, DBSQL errors. So this kind of some known above dumps in the system. Maybe if you go to the ST22, you will come to know the dumps here, right? So Dyn Pro not from, there is a screen is not exist, right? So then there is a screen is not exist means developers. So we need to check this program, and so you are trying to use the program in something like that program is does not exist, something like that program not exist one. So here program not exist mean what we will do, the program error, syntax errors. So if you have to report to the developers, developer will take care of that part here. So system errors SM21, we can see the some system errors, transactions, display the system logs. So that kind of things we can find out in the SM21 transaction codes here, right? So then SMLG logon groups, the response times, these and all the things we can see it here. How many users, what is the response time of the system here, how the system is responding here. So this one all things we can find out in the SMLG transaction code here. Okay. So that is the some of the important things people may ask you during the technical point of time. So you have to carefully understand the question and you need to answer it. Okay.
Yes, sir. While doing client import, transport request number is not coming automatically. But in trans directory, that transport request is there. In the import monitor also, that request is not showing. While trying to add that request, it is showing request is already there in the import queue. It is showing while opening SCC7, it is showing some error.
So data import, which means the client is not generated by the any data import, which means so while exporting, you have not selected this ECD 100 client, that is you have not selected. So the client export and import method is there is a dependency on the TMS configuration. If the TMS configuration is there, then TMS configuration perfectly there, then you can able to do this one. So TMS configuration is not perfectly done, so then you cannot able to do this configuration. So when we are discussing about the transport administration topic, that time you can able to do this is this one like export and import methods. Now within the system you can do that one within the system. So you can export it like suppose like go to the SCC8, then just select the one of the small profile, any one of the profile, then select the system here. So select the same system, you can select it here. Okay. So then click on the background job. So there is a transport request is created here. Okay. So this is created. That's done. Then once this is completed within the system here, just check this processing. Export data. See, there is a transport request number got generated. Is exported. Okay. So then what you can do, go to the SC7 on the same screen, then data got generated on the same client. See, transport request number got generated. Then click on the import button. Okay, that's it.
For that, we need to configure TMS,
Within the system, TMS configuration already there, not required. But you need to do the
external other system.
export from the system and importing into the other system. So that time exporting and importing to the here means definitely the TMS configuration between the two systems are required.
So which request TMS is required and which request TMS is not required in the system? I'm saying, not in
Local
other.
it's not required, remote it's required.
Okay.
Just wait for the next topic until completion. Then meanwhile you can same system you can export it, same system you can do the import. So that works. Export and import methods.
Okay.
Okay. So that is the one here. And I already, I think, covered all the topics. That's fine. Then let's discuss about a small topic. Yeah, Scott administration part here. Okay. Small topic, Scott administration. SCOT, Scott administration. Cart administration means the mail configurations, and mail configurations here to get the emails from the SAP, only outbound emails. Okay, to get the emails from the SAP here. So for this one, Scott is the transaction code here. So we have to enable the SMTP node. We have to activate it here in the Scott transaction code here. In the Scott transaction code, we have to enable the SMTP node, we have to activate it here. We have to create the SMTP node mailbox server configuration. We have to do that one. So why the Scott configuration is required? So sometimes the people raise a request from SAP. Suppose like purchase order, sales order, some other things, they will raise a request here. In that case, what will happen? So immediately that request is completed, people will receive the emails from SAP saying that your request has been completed, workflow, something like timesheet has been approved or your request submitted. You will get the acknowledgement, right? So from how it will go via Scot. Scot, the configuration we have to do it in the Scot here. Here, SMTP node activation, we have to create it here. SMTP node, simple mail transfer protocol. Okay. SMTP node activation, we have to do that one here, right? So this is the mailbox server configuration. We have to perform it here. Mailbox server configuration. Here, mail host name, we have to provide it here. Mail host name. Mailbox server host name means your IT team, every company there is a IT team. IT team will provide the mailbox server details and everything here. So that you can provide their mailbox server details, company details, and what is the port. Normally, usually people will use the 25 is the port number they will use for the mailbox SMTP here. So they will open the mailbox server here. Then what address area, what type of email, what type of address you want to send the email. Suppose like at the rate of mycompany.com, at the rate of gmail.com, at the rate of facebook.com you want to send. So you don't have any specific, just maintain the star. Star means all in SAP. So everybody should receive the emails from SAP here. Everybody should receive the emails from SAP here. Then click on the continue. There is a waiting time to repeat the attempt to the send procedure. And in case of mail got failed, how frequently you want to send the emails to the SAP. Then you want to just send it out. Then create the SMTP server details and everything here. You can see the SMTP server details you have created here. Right? So this will be provided by the your IT team mailbox server name to receive the emails and internet. So the details and everything you have to provide it here. So the mailbox server name, and also there is a the default domain name we have to provide it here. The default domain name means company.com, like star dot. So star the rate of my company com. So like that, the default domain name you have to provide it here, domain name. So right. So here mainly the domain name you have to configure the default domain name you have to configure it here. Then SMTP node activation you have to perform using the Scot transaction code. Then there the SAP connect job, SAP connect job here. So we have to schedule the SAP connect job to transfer the data. SAP Connect job to transfer the data. SAP Connect job is required here. So this job will run every 10 minutes. It will transfer the data every 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You have to schedule. This will transfer the data to the respective recipients here, right? So that one, the job you need to activate the job here. Then the configuration outbound messages configuration you have to do it in the SMTP node. We have to activate it here, right? These two things we have to do it in the Scot transaction code. One is the default domain. You have to whatever the company domain name, your company domain name, you have to activate it. Then SMTP node activation, you have to do it. While activating the node, you need to enter the address area, which emails, which receiver emails you have to receive it. You don't have any specific the thing, then put the star. Then everybody who has the email IDs, everybody should receive the emails from the SAP acknowledgement. That's why sometimes the people knows the star or company.com, something like that here. So you need to maintain the details here like this here, right? So you have maintained the details and everything here, right? That details you have to maintain here. Once that is done, then we can check the in SM37 there is a SAP Connect job. SAP the Connect job will keep on running and transferring the data here. SAP Connect job, which will keep on running and transferring the mails, the messages, mails to the respective recipients here, Sir, how can I check the whether any emails stuck in the SAP system or not here? If we go to the SOST is the transaction code, there we can check that status of the outbound request and everything here. Status of the outbound request and everything, we can check it out here. Are there any emails failed in the last 24 hours? We need to check that part here. So sometimes the emails will get stuck failed. So due to the mailbox server issue, connection issue, the emails get failed. So the people raised the sales order and purchase order, that should go to the respective vendors, vendor email IDs, that respective vendors that got stuck in the SAP only here due to the some connection issue. So in the SOST transaction code, we need to check the status here. In the SOST, we need to check the status of the outbound emails, whether they successfully completed or failed status. We have to check in the SOST transaction code here. Okay, so that is the one thing we should know here. Then also, suppose if you want to send the text emails, go to the SBWP, SAP Business Workplace. Suppose we want to test whether the mails are going or not here. Then if you go to the SBWP transaction code, click on the new message, then you can just to text to us, just to type something here. Then you can add the recipients here. Which recipients you want to add it here? Suppose emails. Suppose you want to send the recipients to the emails. So what type of this is the internet. So this is the internet CP login, not the login name here. This is the external address here, right? So then just click on this is the copy to send express speedily, and copy. One copy you will also receive it here. So this is send as a blind copy here. You will also receive the blind copy, BCC, CC, BCC is like this here. Then select it here. Then click on send the email. Suppose like if you want to add any attachments here, you can also add the attachments here. Just click on the send emails here. Then people will able to send the emails to the respective person here. They will able to send the people to the respective person here, right? Then we will see the information in the suppose. So Scot configurations. So Scot configuration. So it's there, but we have to activate. Then if you go to the SBWP transaction code, business workspace transaction code here, click on the new message. So any system you can go, just text a message here, just any message, rather type it here. Then you can type the user, the recipients here. So it is the SAP login name, right? SAP login name here. Just type the SAP login name here. Then click on the send button here. Send button here. It will move to the system here. It will send it will send it out here, right? It will move here. Then so you can go to the SOST transaction code here. Then you can see the emails, failures, email status, and everything from here, right? Everything you can see it here. You will get in case of it got sent, you will see the respective mail sent to the respective team, like that. You will get the emails and everything. You can see it from here, right? So that is the one of the thing we can see it from here, right? So that is the one thing here. So SBWP is the transaction code so that is a business workspace. We can also check any emails received to from outside to here. That is also we can check it out here. Any emails you received it, that is also we can. As well, we can also send normally using the Gmail address or something. So we can also send the emails here. We can also send the emails to the respective people. We can send it out here, right? So that is also possible here. That is also one of the possible here. Either SAP user, then you can send the SAP user, business partner, login email. So then click on the send button. Then you will be able to send the mails to the respective recipients here. Respective recipients, you can able to send the emails here, right? So that is you can perform it in the systems here, right? That one you can perform it in the systems here. So here, in case of if you receive something here, you will find out the information here, right? So SBWP is like a business workspace here, your business workspace here. So see here, it got stuck here only here sent, right? That it got sent here. Just to normal message got sent here. Who is the recipients? The basis user. Basis user got the recipients here, right? So then basis user, they should receive the emails, read documents, unread documents, same as like our outbox, Gmail, inbox, outbox, sent items, all those things will be displayed here. So like this, we can send the emails. We can send the emails to the that one. Also, SOST, we can create the in the SOST, we can create the so we can check the status here. Are there any failed one? Are there any failed request? Then it will give the display status here. It will be displayed here. Then so failed one, it will give the display. Then we have to reprocess those things. Okay, so these things we have to do it in the Scot transaction code here. Your main thing is Scot configuration side. Configuration is very important here. How you are configuring the Scot configuration. You need to activate the Scot configuration. So what email IDs it got sent here? What email IDs it got received here? So all the email IDs, yes, star, right? Then you need to maintain the star here, right? Are there any so default domain? There is no default domain. Okay. So you need to configure the default domain here. So is there any job? So background send jobs here, SAP Connect job. Send jobs means there is a SAP Connect job. You need to schedule the SAP Connect job as well here. Then you need to schedule the SAP Connect job also here. So this job every 10 minutes this will execute. It will if any messages are failed status, this will so send this will resend to the respective receivers this will send to the here, right? This is the one thing here. So as part of our regular duty, what this Scot configuration is the one-time configuration during the installation time after the installation. Then every day we have to log into the SOST transaction code. Then we need to see are there any failure messages here. Yes, there are some failure messages. Try to reprocess. Even though if you are not processing, then you need to inform to the functional team. Then they will check with the you. Sometimes what happens, the user mailbox got full, 100% is full, user is not available. So this kind of things. So what will happen? The messages get stuck in the SAP itself. The messages will get in the SAP itself only. Okay, so this is the one of the small concept in the Scot. So SMTP node activation, then the port activation should be required. Then can configure the address area. Then so that is ready. Then whenever the people will raise, not by us, the functional or the users will raise any purchase orders or sales orders. That time it will generate the one email. The email will be received by the respective recipients. Recipients will receive the emails. Okay. That is the Scot transactions code. Okay. Any questions, anyone?
For testing that mail sending, we can use our Gmail ID, right?
Yeah, testing purpose. Yeah, you can use it. Not a problem. Yes. Testing
Should
purpose, any email ID you can use it, but the mails will not come to your Gmail. Why? Because the mailbox server is required here. The real mailbox server is required to receive the emails. So we don't have any mailbox server. So definitely everything will be failed into the SOST itself only. All will be failed into the SOST. All the emails will get failed here. So nothing will be go outside. So you can check it out. Just you can try it out.
So suppose 1,000 users are there, right? So how to import those user in this system for sending some message or something?
1,000 users are there, then you need to add the all the users list here. You need to add the all the users list one by one only. There is no way. You need to manually add it. Suppose if you want to send the text message to the 1,000 users, then you need to add all the users one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one. You have to add it all.
Is there any option we can import
Maybe
just
the program or distribution list, create the distribution list, program, something like that. So we can use it. We can use it, then we can do that one. But normally we won't send any emails. So the functional people, they will create the distribution list. They will add into the distribution list all the users. Then, so then they will do that one. So just from our side. So SOS Scott, we have to enable it. Then we need to check, are there any failed messages? Yes. Then we have to inform them. They will take care of that part. There's their risk. They have to send 1,000 emails or 1 lakh emails. That's their risk. They will take care of that part. Maybe distribution list. Distribution list they have to create. Then in that they have to add all the names, titles, and everything. They have to create it, that one. Okay, so please practice it. So Monday we'll discuss about the transport administration. That is the very important topic. Okay, we'll discuss transport.